How to learn less, but remember more. The Japanese brain trick that Western schools never taught you. The brutal truth. You're not stupid. Your brain is just doing its job. You're not dumb. Your brain is just doing exactly what it was designed to do. Forget whatever it thinks isn't important. The real problem? It's making the wrong call. You can spend hours studying, highlight every sentence, read the same thing 3 times, and the next day, it's gone, like it never existed. You blame your memory, your age, your focus, but what's actually stealing your knowledge is the brain's survival mechanism. It doesn't store everything. It filters. If you don't use it, don't repeat it, don't need it, delete. Research shows that within just 24 hours, you forget up to 70% of what you learned. Not because you're weak, because your brain is trying to save energy for what it thinks really matters. But what if it's wrong? What if your study methods are convincing your brain this stuff isn't worth remembering? It's not your fault. It's a system failure, one we've all been stuck in. We've been learning in ways that put the brain to sleep instead of waking it up. The good news? You can rewrite that system. Japanese students have been doing it for centuries, not by grinding harder, but by learning smarter, in ways the brain actually responds to. And starting right now, so can you, if you're willing to leave the old methods behind. Bursting the myth. Highlighting isn't learning. You think you're learning, but really, you're just coloring your notes and praying your brain remembers it for you. You've sat there for hours. Yellow lines, pink markers, sticky tabs everywhere, and told yourself, I'm studying hard. But your brain doesn't care what color the sentence is. It's not built to remember what you skim. It only remembers what you fight to recall. Highlighting isn't learning. Rereading isn't remembering. That feeling of, I get it while you read, it's an illusion. Close the book, and the brain says, yeah, I got nothing. The problem isn't your effort. It's your strategy. You're pouring knowledge in, but never testing if it can come back out. It's like watching people lift weights and hoping your muscles will grow. Japanese students don't highlight. They close the book and ask, what do I still remember? And it's in that moment, that awkward silence, that mental struggle, that real learning begins. You're not bad at studying. You're just stuck in a method that keeps your brain half asleep. 5 ways Japanese students study without pulling all-nighters. Japanese students don't study more than you. They just don't study like the rest of the world, the broken way. While you're burning 4 hours straight and crashing on your desk, they study 10 minutes a day and remember it for life. They don't rely on motivation. They follow systems. They don't try to be smarter than others, just smarter than who they were yesterday. Here are the 5 ways they train their brains like warriors without late-night meltdowns. 1. Active recall. Test, not reread. Not reading it 10 times. Reading once, then closing the book and asking, what do I still know? Every time you wrestle with your memory, you're laying concrete in your brain's pathways. It's uncomfortable, and that's exactly why it works. 2. The Kumin method. Small bites every day. They don't try to swallow the entire textbook in one night. They chop it up. 5 minutes of math, 5 minutes of vocab, 5 minutes of review. It's like stacking bricks. And one day you look back and you've built a house. 3. Spaced repetition. Water your memory before it dries. They don't cram again and again. They review just before forgetting kicks in. Day 1, learn. Day 3, review. Day 7, refresh. Day 14, reinforce.
Each time you water the memory at the edge of fading, it roots deeper. 4. Kaizen. Improve by just 1% daily. You don't need to go crazy. You just need to show up every single day. 1% better each day means you're 37 times better by the end of the year. The Japanese don't chase breakthroughs. They build consistency. 5. Shu. Create rituals that trigger focus. Same desk, same pen, same playlist. Small cues that tell the brain it's go time. And once the brain links these rituals to learning, focus becomes second nature. These 5 methods, they're not magic. They're not expensive. But they work if you're willing to change the way you learn. Why Japanese students remember for life and we don't? It's not because they're born smarter. It's because they don't treat knowledge like a disposable item. Japanese students don't study to pass. They study to live, to apply, to repeat, to teach it forward. While we rush like there's a deadline chasing us, they build knowledge like a foundation, slow, steady, but unshakable. We forget because we learn under pressure. The brain only keeps what it finds useful. And most of us learn just to get through, not to hold on to anything. We read, highlight, skim, and slap on post-its. They close the book, sit still, and ask, if I had to explain this tomorrow, how would I do it? We summarize, they visualize. We cram, they recreate. And that's why they remember. Not because they're better, but because they believe memory is a trainable skill, not a gift you either have or don't. You may forget, but you can also choose to relearn the way they did, to remember, to use, to transform your life from the inside out. The final shift, why you should start learning like the Japanese today. Not because you want to be like them, but because you're ready to stop being stuck where you are. You've tried the old way 100 times. The highlighters, the all-nighters, the empty promises to yourself, this time it'll stick. But the results don't change. You study, you forget, you give up. It's time to stop fighting your brain and start working with it. Not by forcing memory, but by activating it. Japanese students don't promise to remember everything. They just set up systems that make learning a daily rhythm. You don't need to be a genius to begin. You just need to begin. You don't need a massive leap, just one small move today. Try one thing. Turn off the highlighters. Close the book. Write down what you remember. That's the first step. Small, but correct. You can keep doing what hasn't worked and hope it will. Or you can try what actually works, like the Japanese already have. And if you're still here, reading this far, that's not random. That's a signal. You're ready to learn again, but this time for real, to understand, to take back control of your own game. Start today, and you may never need to start over again. Call to action. The easy start. If there's one small shift you can make today, try learning like the Japanese. Try writing instead of rereading. Try reviewing after one day instead of cramming at midnight. You don't need to change the world. Just change how you treat your own memory. And if this hit home for you, drop a comment. I'm choosing to relearn. Subscribe for more real-life brain strategies. Because here, we don't study to pass. We study to rise. One day at a time. One better version of yourself at a time.